Hello, my name is Alan Bogart. I'm the city manager for the city of Sugar Land, and I'm here today with Jennifer Brown, the city's director of finance. And Jennifer, I know that you are very active right now doing preparation work for the annual budget. How's
We
that going?
are. We have been very busy the last couple of months, and we are trying to get everything wrapped up so we have a good proposal ready for the city council that they'll be happy with, and that will fund what we need to do next fiscal year.
Very good. You know, one of the areas that is important to the city is continuing to make significant capital investments in roads and drainage projects. And I know that you recently published some information about the use of bonds by the
Yes.
city. Can you talk a little bit about bonds and what a bond is?
Sure. The city can't just go to the bank and borrow money when we need to finance a project. The projects are just too big, too expensive. It's not the right type of financing. So when the city needs to borrow money, we go to the municipal bond market. And it's similar to a treasury bond, except it's a different type of instrument. And it is typically backed by either property taxes or utility revenues or some other special revenue stream.
Why would the city need to borrow money? Don't we have enough money?
We do have enough money to do our operating budget. We have sales taxes, we have property taxes that fund our day-to-day operations. What we don't have cash in the bank for is those big capital projects. For example, a new animal shelter. We don't have enough money sitting in the bank to be able to pay for that today with cash. So we would go to the bond market and look to borrow funds to be able to construct that.
And that would be the same as if you're talking about a street or a drainage
Yes.
or a new fire station.
Yes, it's very similar to if you want to buy a new house. You typically don't have the cash in the bank to be able to pay cash for a house
Right,
outright.
right.
So you look to finance that over probably 20 or 30 years.
Right.
We're doing the same thing with our capital improvements. And so today's residents aren't paying the full cost of those improvements when the residents 20 years from now are still going to be getting the benefit from it.
So the financing works for all the big stuff.
Yes.
The water plants and the road projects and those sorts of
Yes.
things.
Unlike the federal government, we do not issue bonds to fund our operating budget. We only use them for capital projects.
All right. And so you've explained a lot of that information in your recent quick facts.
Yes.
And it talks about what a bond is. It talks about how they're paid.
It does.
Paid for?
There are different types of bonds. The quick fact actually has about 6 different tabs. On our website, we've just created a page. So anybody who wants to learn about municipal bonds, why we issue them, what are they used for, what types they are, can go there. It's on the finance page, and it's called Municipal Debt. And so there are links there.
Very good.
But the types of bonds, there are 2 really basic types of bonds that are paid for by property taxes, and that would be our certificates of obligation and general obligation bonds. And really the only difference is the general obligation bonds have to be approved by the voters. And so about 5 years ago, we went to the voters for park bonds, and the voters approved park bonds. And so we have those available. But they're for specific projects. Certificates of obligation are very similar, except that they're not pre-approved by the voters.
Okay.
And so the city council has directed city staff to use those as the tool for financing most of our capital improvements.
Very good. And obviously, just like at your home, it's important that you manage your finances and your debt appropriately. Make sure you don't get overloaded. Is that one of the things that you look for?
It is. As part of our evaluation every year, we look at how much debt we can afford to take on as our current debt is paying off.
Ah, yes.
And so,
And if I remember correctly, we have a relatively short payback
We do.
time. Like at my house, I have a 15-year mortgage. We have 20-year debt as our predominant type of
Yes.
debt, and that makes sure that we're paying off a lot of debt every year and allows us to be able, if we needed to invest in something we're capable of being able to
Yes.
do that.
And most of our capacity to do new projects comes from that repayment schedule. It's very aggressive, and we try to pay the debt off as quickly as we can.
And also try to keep those interest rates low,
Yes.
which is why we keep our bond rating high,
Yes.
which is like having a high credit rating.
Very much. We have a AAA bond rating on our tax-backed debt, which is the highest rating you can get. And so with that, we borrow money at the absolute lowest cost that we possibly can.
Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to visit today and to put together the quick facts page.
Thank you.
It has a lot of quality information for our residents, and I would like to encourage all of our residents to take a look and learn more about the city's finances. And we're going to be coming and visiting again
Yes.
soon and continuing to share information about the management of the city.
Yeah.
Thank you.